Guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here. Hope the mic's okay. So I know you are all watching the telly right now and the internet and everything that's going on about the grooming gangs. And I know my followers especially will be sitting there scratching their heads going, what is going on? You know, it is like all of a sudden, like everybody's like, there's grooming gangs. There's been grooming gangs for 15 years. Like 10 years ago, we were dealing with horrific stuff. And they're going on about, like, I'm really angry. Like, they're going on about, oh, the transcripts have come through and, oh, they're really bad. And everybody's saying, oh, we can't mention it. We can't talk about it. I can tell you now, it's nowhere near as horrific as the first lot of grooming gangs. You know, the details that were involved in that were absolutely horrific. And I've covered it, and I don't know how many videos. And I always say, I cannot tell you what I know. Because you just couldn't. I don't even think I could tell my mother-in-law. You know, I have too much respect for her to tell her what happened to some of them girls. You know, I mean, I have never heard anything so horrific happen to anybody in my life. And this is a big change in the United Kingdom, and it's been going on for the last 15 years. And this is like, if they hadn't silenced Tommy Robinson, maybe we could have dealt with this. The whole point of them silencing Tommy Robinson was so he couldn't talk about these things. He couldn't bring it to tell everybody, warn everybody what he's seen, what's happening in Luton. And this video wasn't about Tommy Robinson. This is about the victims of child abuse in 2025. You know, and like I keep saying, it's been going on for like 50, 60 years. Working class kids, the most vulnerable children in our society, are being victims of child abuse. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Everybody's coming out now showing shock and horror, and they're not even dealing with it properly. Everybody's skirting around the issue still. I heard a figure, 250,000 children. 250,000 children, you know. I always knew, like, if you've got 1,400 children in one town in England, and there's over 20 towns involved, you know, and that's just the ones that they got, the ones that they know. How many do you think went through horrific times and haven't even told their parents because they don't think anybody will believe them, or they just want to put it out of their lives? Because I was a victim of abuse, and I done that. I didn't tell nobody. I kept it a secret. I thought if I didn't speak about it, I would have forgotten. And it did. It worked. It did work. I put it out of my life, and I was able to move on with my life as a normal young man because I was able to put that out of my mind. And only for being involved in historical childhood abuse redress board in Northern Ireland, had to bring it brought it all to light, and it was really difficult for me to deal with, you know. And you know, these girls, and then you've got to think about the girls, individual girls that aren't involved in the gangs, the grooming gangs, but are involved with individual men abusing them. Because if this is what's happening, like this is. And another thing as well, it's only, they're not doing it to their own. They're only doing it to Christian, white, and Sikhs and Jewish children. They're not, you know, it's a wee bit different from what we know in our country. That's went on with child abuse. Child abusers were predominantly paedophiles, you know, but this is a different. These are different. This is almost like a hatred. They're doing it out of hatred, you know, and nobody's addressing it. And even while this is going on, in the last 15 years, hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of young men full of testosterone who aren't going to get any girlfriends in this country. So therefore, we all know what's going to happen. So I cannot imagine how many victims there is in this country right now, England. And then I find out we've got one in Glasgow, and they've fucking kept it quiet. They actually went out of their way to make sure nobody found out about a grooming gang in Glasgow, where children, vulnerable children again, children from children's homes, children from broken families, children like me, children like the people I grew up with, again being victimised in 2024-25. and you've got the Glasgow Council and the Glasgow Police keeping it silent. So therefore, people are oblivious to what's going on. People are oblivious that their kids are hanging about certain shops or hanging about certain kebab shops. Parents aren't worrying because they don't know. Well done, Glasgow. Well done, Scotland. Well done, the Strathclyde Police. Hang your head in shame. You should be absolutely disgusted with yourself. And the people behind all these, there has to be repercussions. I'm hearing that, like, I seen a report where they were saying, yeah, we're going to change everything, so whenever people come across childhood abuse, that if they don't report it, I'm talking about officials, I'm talking about police officers, I'm talking about social workers, I'm talking about everybody in the government that's involved with the care of vulnerable people, do not have any liability. They don't have any. They don't even need to report anything. They're only talking about bringing out a law now that if they don't, they can be charged with something. Are you kidding me on? Are you kidding me on? What is going on? And then the Labour don't want to have an inquiry in the Oldham grooming gang. Like, Labour, like, what? It's one of the biggest things ever to happen to Britain. Our children have never been attacked like this before by anything ever in our time in history on this planet. That's a crazy statement to make, but I can guarantee you it's true. Our children in this country have not been victimised in any way, apart from what's happened in the last 15, 20 years because of illegal and legal immigration of men who hate us, hate our culture, and obviously hate our children. I'm going to wrap this up because I'm really, really angry, really, really furious that our government are implicit in more crimes against our children. Everybody, people like me and others, are screaming from the rooftops that this isn't right. This needs to stop. These are our most vulnerable children. We should be protecting them. These are kids without families, kids that lost their parents, kids that rely on the government for them to look after them. And they're the ones being targeted. And you're telling me there's no repercussions? There's no heads are rolling? Well, I tell you what, I'm not going to rest, especially in Scotland, and I'm going to look into it. I'm going to reach out to so many guys and people, and I'm going to find out who exactly was responsible for keeping it quiet in Scotland and Glasgow, and how many children have fell victim to predators because of this silence. I'm Freedom Dad. I'm sorry it's one of them videos. I will bring another video out later on the day.